What is going on, guys? Meteorologist Jonathan Kegges with you on a Friday. Hope everybody is doing well and getting ready for the big heat. If you thought last weekend was hot, this one is going to be hotter. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. We're coming at you live on News 6 Plus and on the News 6 YouTube channel. Hope everybody's doing well. I think I said that already. It's Friday. The brain is wired. Please do me a favor. Post in the comments where you're tuning in from. We are taking a live look tonight with our Weather Stem network of cameras. Live look above my head in Sanford, in the Brady Bunch box below from Shady Grove, Florida this evening. Again, we're going to hop right into it because we have a lot to get to in the first half of the show. We're going to talk about the record heat possible this weekend. Even if we do not hit records, we're in that upper echelon kind of feel when it comes to the heat. Again, just like last weekend, if not even a little bit hotter. We likely will be a degree or two hotter. May not sound like much, but it's going to be brutal this weekend. Then we're going to check in on the tropics. We were highlighting this for the last couple of days. There's buzz out there on social media. So you know me, those that have been around and hanging out with me for a while. When there's a buzz out there on social media, I go at it. I try to separate the trash from the truth. We talked about this a little bit tonight at 4:30 and 5:30 on the news because it's out there. I want people to know what I think is going to happen, if there's something we need to watch, and just what the state of the Atlantic Basin is right now. So as I ramble on, we're going to check in on an entity that is not yet even rolling off of Africa. It's still about a 12 to 24 hours away before it slides out over to the Atlantic Ocean. And this is not something that we'd be talking about any kind of thing racing toward the Caribbean until the first week of August. So there is still a lot of time out there, but the internet is abuzz. So we're going to take a look at it. And then, of course, we're going to end with the last few minutes taking your comments, questions, and just whatever you want to say. Elizabeth, hope you're doing well tonight. Name isn't showing up again. Every now and then it does that, where it just doesn't pull your name. So thank you so much. Before Melissa, hope you're doing well. Sorry I missed your question last night. There were a lot of questions last night, and sometimes I can't keep up with them all. So I'm thankful for that. Hope you're doing well, Kevin. And Jody's here as well. So thank you guys for being so loyal and joining the stream tonight. So we are going to get with the heat. First and foremost, this is the deal that is going to be the root reason for the heat. It's this big chunk of high pressure that's building across the southeast corner of the United States. Underneath these things are the air sinks. When air sinks, it warms up, it dries out. So it's the double-edged sword here. Not only are we going to have a hotter weekend, it is also going to be a drier weekend. So we're not going to have many chances to get those cooling afternoon thunderstorms that I know a lot of you were talking about today about missing out on. And again, that is something that we're going to talk about going forward when that starts to work its way back through. Next couple of days, it meanders through the southeast. The hottest of the hot is going to be right underneath that big blue H. So really from Mobile, Alabama, the panhandle of Florida, back towards Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. It's wild. It's stupid hot in that direction. It's going to be hot here, 97 degrees. The orange box represents above normal temperatures. The blue boxes represent below normal temperatures. If there was red on the map, it would be record heat is forecast. And then the gray box there, the gray box, it represents where we're right where we should be. So Miami's the only one where they should be. Vero Beach is a little cooler. We're going to at least have some breeze off of the Atlantic to help us out. Same for Pensacola. Everywhere else, we're in the upper 90s. Melissa's asking, are we going to get rain? I don't think rain is in your future in New Smyrna Beach, probably until Tuesday at the very earliest. It's going to be a while. Thanks so much, Rebecca. I appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words. We try our best to do that and just take it head on. So I really, really appreciate that, Rebecca. Hope you're having a great Friday night. What's going on? My friend Richard in Ormond by the Sea reports no humidity. Gosh, I wish. No rain today, but plenty of humidity. I'm going to hightail it to Ormond Beach right now if there's no humidity. Look at the heat index tomorrow, guys. We're in that 105 to 110 range again through most of Central Florida. Again, a little bit hotter the further north you go because we're going to be under the core of that big chunk of high pressure. Taking you further out to Sunday, it gets a little hotter, upper 90s. I don't know what is going on in Shady Grove tonight. Must be a truck or something. Yeah. That was keep on seeing this bright light. It's kind of spooky down there on that bottom camera. 93 in Naples tomorrow, 93 in Pensacola, and even hotter as we move through the day on Monday. There are the red boxes popping up. There are the triple-digit heats, the triple-digit heat. This is without the humidity involved. So that's 100 in Tallahassee. If it hits 100 in Jacksonville, that will be a new record. We're a couple of degrees away from records in Central Florida. We're at 98 degrees in Orlando. If that big blue H was going to work its way back down into Central Florida a little bit more, then we'd be talking about a real good shot to get to triple-digit heat without the humidity. So Melissa asked about the rain. Here we go. This is 11 o'clock on Saturday. We have clouds moving in, just a few heating of the day clouds. And then this is all I have for you. 2 o'clock, a speck popping up near Jacksonville, and then just a few scattered thunderstorms, just a few on the western side of the Florida Peninsula and the Florida Panhandle. That's it. Most everybody across Florida is going to be on the dry side, not only for tomorrow, but really over the next couple of days. Alrighty, guys, I'm going to get my short break in quick. If you are here for the tropical portion of the show, we're going to be back in 3 minutes to talk about this. This wave emerging off of Africa over the next 12 to 24 hours is what has a lot of the internet buzzing tonight for potential tropical development. The Atlantic isn't that conducive for development. However, there is a little small-scale bubble of favorability that could help this thing along. We're going to take a look at that and take a look at some of the latest model consensus here and talk about what this means in the long-term future as we roll into the first few days of August. Stick around. I will see you guys in just 3 minutes. Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for sticking with me through the break. Let me know where you're tuning in from tonight on a Friday night. We're going to jump into the tropics. We have a ton to get to this evening. And what I'm showing you here, this is the European ensemble forecast. You know what, guys? You guys love. You know, I love showing you the ensembles. I'll get it out. I did not have my second cup of coffee today. That could be a problem. So that's why I'm all over the place this evening. Post in the comments where you're tuning in from. If you have any questions about this little entity that we are watching, of course, any questions on that, post it away. Anything about the heat, I will do my best to get there and answer it. Speaking of the heat, there's our Eric Cartman friend that just popped up randomly. I want to show you the actual ensemble members individually because I think this helps tell the story. This kind of shows where the probabilities are, but this tells the bigger story. So this is going to be the European ensembles for through August 4th. Each one of those lines represent the storm track that the individual ensemble members think the storm is going to go. There's a lot of L's out there. Okay, so it would suggest the European model, the European ensembles do suggest, and let me take this back a little bit further. This is going to be on August 1st that it would show that there is a little something at least trying to get going east of the Caribbean islands. And then some have it kind of riding the Northeast Caribbean toward Puerto Rico, eventually towards the Turks and Caicos, and then maybe up towards the Bahamas. There are three camps with this. Some of them take it right on through the Caribbean. If that one were to happen, the Caribbean is like super hostile. If it goes into the Caribbean, it's going to fall apart quick and die a super quick death. There's wind shear there. It is not a good place for a tropical system to try to go right now. So that would be lovely if it would give some beneficial rain to the Windward Islands and then just die. There's another school of thought, though, kind of riding in this direction towards the Turks and Caicos. And then maybe it gets a little strong and then goes out in that direction. So those are the three things or the three possible outcomes. There's also this. You'll notice the L's are back up tier 2. That's the other thing. We talked about that, I think, on, what was it? Tuesday, I think the Climate Prediction Center releases their thing. They highlighted the same area that we just went through that other system with again. So that's kind of another homegrown opportunity along the North Gulf Coast. But this is really our first kind of deep tropic signal that we've had so far this hurricane season. So there it is. The signal does continue to grow. The signal continues to grow, but it's not set in stone because one of the things that are out there, and let me show you the satellite. I'm going to go back to the actual full basin satellite before I show you some more models. We had a few juicy waves slide over, but I mean, they were kind of gobbled up. It's very stable out there. You need the atmosphere to be unstable to really sustain thunderstorms, get them to grow and thrive. We don't have that. You need it to be moist. I say that, I know everybody hates that word, but you do need it to be that in the mid levels of the atmosphere. It's very dry, it's very dusty, and it's very hot in the middle levels of the atmosphere. All things would work against tropical development. We talked about this last night, that there is a little thing called a Kelvin wave. It's like this almost like Energizer bunny kind of thing that runs. You get these little perturbations or disturbances that slide through, and it can help invigorate a tropical wave or help create thunderstorms as it slides through. Well, one of those is going to be passing about the same time our wave is getting into the central Atlantic. So that is like the only reason why I would think it bears watching. Otherwise, I completely throw it out. Again, on a large scale, and this is what we were talking about, like we're going to be watching this together in real time. What wins out here? This small scale bubble of favorability, as I'm calling it, or is it going to be the large scale super terrible conditions for tropical systems? And obviously we're hoping it's going to be option B, the large scale unfavorable pattern or unfavorable atmosphere for these storms. Just pulling up another thing to try. This is what I wanted to show you, because here's the kind of the model rendition of this little bubble. There is all the dry, dusty air, but there is like a little bit of green right around there, indicating that it's in a nice little envelope of moisture that can help to fend off some of that drier air. And you can see that here when I add the anomalies to it and take this further out. You see it right there again. This is the GFS, by the way, and it doesn't get it too terribly strong, but it does have that green, that pocket of moisture kind of undercutting that and then getting towards the islands and then maybe out into the Gulf. That's way out there. That's on August 7th. So it's never good to look at individual model runs. I just wanted to show you that at this stage in the game. I just wanted to show you that because I think it kind of shows like the teeny tiny bubble of favorability. I should trademark that. That would be nice. So that's about what I have for you on that. The GFS ensembles also do show. Some of them are online. More were online than last night. There are a few of those L's sliding through, coming towards the Bahamas. One of the things, by the way, it's not a surprise that this is happening, maybe in this kind of environment, but this was the active storm track that we thought. We thought that the Turks and Caicos, the Bahamas, the Northeast Caribbean, and then the East Coast of the United States were going to be hot spots this year due to the fact that we do have a really strong Bermuda high to kind of help to push things further west. We don't like that. We like whenever it's nice and weak and it just keeps everything out there and allows things to get strong. I have another map for you, and it's the same thing before. This is called the SpaghettiOs map, because they're going to look like little SpaghettiOs that pop up. And where you see the little things pop up there, that's the same deal. The European ensembles and all those different SpaghettiOs that pop up indicate a potential storm. So you see that there's a few that get up there and then turn. The one thing that we're also going to have to watch, and this was something that we brought up in our preseason forecast, was that even if it's hostile all the way across the Atlantic Basin, the water is super, super juiced close to home. These are the sea surface temperature anomalies. They're not the actual surface temperature right now, but you see here, if there were to be something that would kind of get further north toward the Turks and Caicos and the Bahamas, all the white represents where it's normal, and then the yellow, orange, and red equals where it's above normal. And you see that's pretty much the entire Gulf of Mexico or America, whatever you say, and the entire really subtropical Atlantic encompassing Bermuda and southeast corner of the United States. These naked waves, if they don't carry any convection, could end up becoming a problem, and then those short fuse storms that pop up quickly. So all that stuff needs to really be monitored, even if it does not look impressive on satellite going forward. Okay, I have a bunch of cool and great questions in the chat room. I need to take a short break, and whenever we come back, we are going to answer those right alongside you as we wrap up the show on a Friday. I will see you guys in 3 minutes. Hang tight. All right, it's time for the sound off section where you guys have been awesome again and have posted some great questions. Melissa said or asked, whoops, wrong button, my bad. Alyssa has asked, okay. Melissa has asked, see what happens when I don't have cup of coffee number 2 and it gets to be nearly 10 o'clock at night. My goodness. Okay. We're just looking at the satellite and dust. I just wanted to show you again, illustrate just how unfavorable the Atlantic basin is right now. And I just want to make everybody aware of that while there is a lot of buzz and while there's certainly growing signal for some tropical development, it is really going to have to fight and punch its way through a lot of terrible conditions for the storm. We like when it's obviously terrible for the storm, but there's a little bit of reinforcements. It's like a cage match, I guess, or a tag team, not a cage match, a tag team where, okay, it's losing some of that steam and then that little Kelvin wave comes over, taps in, and then gets things going again. So anyway, Melissa had asked earlier, she said, why do they call it the rainy season? I thought it rains every single day. It doesn't mean you're going to get rain every single day in one location. The rainy season is defined whenever the dew point gets above 75 pretty much every day. And the daily thunderstorms that we have through Central Florida, because of the sea breeze, brings rain to Central Florida on a nearly everyday basis. Now, the overall weather pattern dictates, okay, what side of the state gets the rain that day. And as our friend from Clearwater mentioned, they took flooding tonight because of all the rain that went on. It was a very West Coast rainy day today, I-75 and west, due to the fact that we have strong high pressure building from the east, pushing everything. So it's the rainy season. It doesn't rain everywhere. And again, it depends upon which sea breeze is the dominant one. If it's the East Coast sea breeze that forces everything west, you're going to get higher rain chances and likely some heavy rain. Exactly. Elizabeth said Rock'em Sock'em Robots, 100%. And whichever one wins, you need the West Coast sea breeze. You need high pressure to build in the Gulf to push everything from west to east so that you are pretty much guaranteed the rain. That's why the lightning capital is typically around the I-4 corridor, because on a normal solution or a normal scenario, East Coast sea breeze fires up around I-95. West Coast sea breeze fires up around the Gulf Coast. The circulation would force them inland. You get that nice cooling breeze on the Gulf and off the Atlantic. And then the storms fire like crazy whenever they collide around the I-4 corridor. Elizabeth hit it on the head there. Mr. Garrison. Or didn't he change to Mrs. Garrison at one point too? I haven't watched that in a while, but there's some good stuff. CW Stidham says homegrown stuff is bad for sure. It brought a lot of flooding to Louisiana, and those storms that do get going are also pretty terrible. Jolie Jules, Brevard County, near Sebastian. Great to have you on the show tonight. Richard says, hooray for wind shear. Limitless Lightning mentioned about the lightning in literally limitless lightning tonight in Tampa, Clearwater. Alrighty, guys, I am out of time. We're going to go over the future radar for tomorrow at 10 o'clock, which does not show much. We're going to talk about the heat. That's the big deal in Central Florida. I will leave you with this. I know it's always hot in Central Florida. Scientifically, your body cools itself by sweating. When you're talking about the heat index, it's a super important number. It's not just to show that, oh my gosh, it's really hot. Oh, they're hyping up the heat again. No. It's a scientific number. It's important because when that number gets high and that feels like temperature gets high, it means that your body is going to have more trouble cooling itself naturally. And even if you are born and bred in Florida and you take on the heat, like you take on your hurricanes, like those 300 memes, the heat's going to knock you down every time. So do me a favor, just pay attention to that. Pay attention to your body. If you have yard work or anything else outside, going to the theme parks or anything like that, take care of yourself, take breaks. You know the drill. You live in Florida. But again, just want to give that heads up. When you have the heat advisories issued in Florida, it takes a lot to get those heat advisories issued in Florida because we are so used to the heat. Thank you guys a ton for another great week. I really appreciate you. Zachary, it certainly was the 18Z AI Euro model. We'll see what's going on with that one. And I'm anxious to see when we talk again on Monday what the ensembles and what the model picture looks like and if it has started to fend off any of these really terrible conditions for the storm. You guys have been great again. Thank you so much. I'll catch you in 3 minutes. New 6, 10 o'clock on YouTube or on New 6 Plus. That is a free download. And then, of course, on Monday, 9 o'clock, 9:30. And we'll see you at 11 o'clock, too, on traditional television. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you, Elizabeth. See ya, Melissa.